The screen fades in on a rainy evening, droplets racing down a fogged window. A man sits at a small kitchen table, staring at a half-filled mug of coffee gone cold. The clock ticks loudly. He glances at the small picture frame beside him, a smiling little girl, her front teeth missing. He whispers softly, "I'll make it work, baby girl. I promise." Sometimes, the people who have the least to give end up giving the most. Cut to a young woman dragging two heavy suitcases through the rain, mascara smudged, looking lost. She stops in front of a small room for rent sign nailed to a wooden gate. That's when their worlds collide, and neither of them realizes how much they're about to change each other's lives forever. Ethan Miller was a 37-year-old single father doing his best to keep things together. His wife had passed away 3 years ago, leaving him with their 8-year-old daughter, Lily, a bundle of sunshine who somehow still found reasons to laugh, even when her father couldn't. Life wasn't kind to Ethan. His construction job had been cut down to part-time hours, and the bills seemed to multiply faster than his paychecks. He'd been renting out the spare room in his old house to keep up with rent and Lily's school fees. That's when she showed up, soaked from the rain, hair plastered to her face, clutching a backpack like it carried her whole world. "Hi. I'm here about the room," she asked, voice trembling slightly. Ethan nodded, wiping his hands on a rag. "Yeah. You're Emma, right?" She smiled weakly. "Yes. Emma Brooks." There was something in her eyes, kindness, but also a kind of quiet pain. Ethan didn't pry. He needed the money. She needed a place. Simple as that. The room was small, an old attic space with a single window that overlooked the backyard. But when Emma walked in, she whispered, "It's perfect." Over the next few weeks, Emma became part of the household. She helped Lily with homework, cooked dinner when Ethan worked late, and laughed easily, even though she always avoided talking about her family. Ethan figured she was just another student trying to make it on her own. He had no idea that her last name, Brooks, was tied to one of the wealthiest families in the state. One night, while Ethan fixed a leak in the kitchen sink, Emma sat nearby reading a bedtime story to Lily. The sound of Lily's giggles filled the house. Ethan paused, water dripping onto his arm, and smiled quietly. It had been a long time since the house had felt alive, but behind Emma's smiles was a secret. She wasn't just a college girl struggling to pay rent. She had left behind a mansion, a limousine, and parents who thought money could fix everything. She had come here to feel something real. Weeks turned into months. The three of them, Ethan, Emma, and little Lily, began to feel like a family. Christmas lights went up early, laughter echoed through the small home, and for the first time in years, Ethan dared to feel happy. But happiness has a way of testing people. One winter morning, a black luxury car stopped outside the house. Two men in suits stepped out, asking for Miss Emma Brooks. Ethan's world tilted. Emma's secret came crashing out like a thunderclap. She wasn't broke. She wasn't just another student. She was the daughter of Richard Brooks, the real estate mogul whose face was on magazine covers. Ethan felt betrayed. He didn't know if it was the money or the lie that hurt more. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked quietly, his voice shaking. Emma's eyes filled with tears. "Because I wanted you to see me, not my last name. Not my father's money. Just me." Ethan shook his head. "You didn't have to lie." Emma tried to explain how her father never understood her dreams, how she wanted to study art instead of business, how she'd left home to live like an ordinary person. But Ethan had already closed off, walls rebuilding brick by brick. She packed her things that night. Before leaving, she slipped an envelope onto the kitchen table, a letter and a check big enough to pay off all of Ethan's debts. The next morning, Ethan found it, but he tore the check in half. He kept the letter. Months passed. The house felt empty again. Lily missed her, asking every night if Emma would come back. Ethan didn't know how to explain it to her. Then one spring afternoon, as Ethan picked Lily up from school, he saw her standing by the gate, holding a small bouquet of wildflowers. No bodyguards. No luxury car. Just Emma. "I don't want to run anymore," she said softly. "Not from who I am, and not from who I love." Ethan didn't say anything. He just looked at her and saw not the millionaire's daughter, not the runaway girl, but the woman who had brought light back into his and Lily's lives. He stepped forward and pulled her into a hug. Lily squealed with joy, wrapping her small arms around them both. Months later, the old room for rent sign still hung by the fence, faded, barely legible. But inside the house, laughter and warmth filled every corner. Ethan had started his own small carpentry business. Emma painted again, selling her art under a new name, Emma Miller. And Lily? She'd tell everyone, proudly, my dad and Emma fixed our house together. But really, they fixed our hearts. Sometimes, the richest people aren't the ones with money, they're the ones brave enough to give their hearts, even when they've been broken.